The worst is yet to come. Major tech companies have begun scaling back their hiring efforts and even laying off a significant amount of tech employees. The current mass layoffs are a direct result of order to prepare for potential economic downturn. Hey, and welcome back. The job market is red hot right now, and changes are happening quickly. I've already mentioned how important it is for recruiters like me to keep up with the labor market and the broader economy in general to allow us to do our jobs the best. I hope by focusing on important news updates like this in today's video, I can really help other recruiters and even job seekers navigate this increasingly turbulent world we find ourselves in coming out of the pandemic. In my last video, I covered the shocking news that the US-based cryptocurrency market Coinbase had actually retracted around 350 job offers they had sent out to prospective employees. While some were still fielding offers from other organizations, others had already accepted what they thought were very generous offers. Sources state many had already left their previous roles and even moved to entirely new areas to begin their new job at Coinbase. But this unprecedented hiring practice is only one smaller part of a much bigger story. Indeed, Coinbase is just one of numerous tech companies in difficult positions after experiencing an unexpected growth spurt during the pandemic. But despite a job market where candidates have more negotiating power than ever before, these tech companies have already begun mass layoffs. So in this video, we're going to review the background behind this story before we dive a little bit into why this is happening and what it can mean for you, especially if you're considering entering a tech-related field. But before we get started, as always, please consider to like, subscribe, click that bell. It really means a lot. So if you watched my previous videos on the current state of the job economy, you might be surprised to hear that major tech companies have begun scaling back their hiring efforts and even laying off a significant amount of tech employees. If you haven't seen those previous videos, I recommend you stop right now and go back and check them out. In summary though, the US job market and economy are making surprisingly swift recovery. Hundreds of thousands of new jobs have been created since the beginning of this year, and the unemployment rate is back to pre-pandemic lows. But despite this though, we find ourselves within the so-called Great Resignation, in which large amounts of employees are leaving their jobs in search of work with a greater level of flexibility that was demonstrated via remote work policies during the pandemic. The result is that job seekers have a lot of bargaining power, and companies are offering higher wages, better benefits, and more flexible working hours just to compete. But in general, it's a good time to be looking for a job if you're thinking about it. But this isn't the case for all industries. In particular, tech-related organizations that flourished during the pandemic are suddenly finding themselves scrambling and overstaffed and underfunded. Let's explore why. Tech companies are at the forefront of the economy. Part of the reason why I love technical recruiting is because many look to tech companies to determine the health of the broader economy. During periods of rapid growth, investors are more willing to take risks and provide funding to potentially risky ventures that may take significant time to turn a profit. Conversely, during the economic downtime, such as a recession, the opposite effect actually occurs, and the chances that tech companies shrink or disappear altogether is significant. What we're seeing now is certainly atypical. While the economy stagnated during the pandemic, the population found themselves at home with little to do, so they turned to companies like Twitter and Netflix and others to pass the time, ushering in a period of unprecedented growth. On the other hand, industries like food, beverage, retail, hospitality took massive hits. The pandemic ends, the effect reverses. However, now that we're coming out of the pandemic, people are returning to restaurants, bars, hotels, retail stores, and more, and the aforementioned companies were blindsided. At the end of April 2022, Netflix announced that they had lost 200,000 subscribers, the first time the streaming service had seen a drop since 2011. This signaled the beginning of a massive tech slump that culminated in a steep drop in the cryptocurrency market. Economic downturn, recession on the horizon? Economists remain split on the state of the overall economy, but the negative effects felt by the tech industry could signal that the worst is yet to come. The sudden return to pre-pandemic life has caused inflation to skyrocket, and the invasion of the Ukraine by Russia has further complicated things, increasing oil prices to numbers we haven't seen since 2007 at the start of the Great Recession. As a result, the Federal Reserve has upped the interest rates in order to cool inflation, putting even more strain on tech companies. The current mass layoffs are a direct result of a significant reorganization of hiring plans by tech companies in order to prepare for potential economic downturn. Here's what co-founder and CEO of Coinbase had to say about the layoffs. Quote, "Coinbase has survived through 4 major crypto winters, and we've created long-term success by carefully managing our spending through every down period, end quote. And I quote again, down markets are challenging to navigate and require a different mindset. Quote, what companies are laying off employees? How many layoffs have there been? A Crunchbase report indicates that so far 21,000 employees have been laid off across the tech sector, with more potentially on the horizon. Notable organizations include Masterclass, Coinbase, Redfin, BlockFi, Stitch Fix, ID.me, Dutchy, Policy Genius, ClickUp, PayPal, Netflix, and Zalili. But the layoffs are not limited to the US. Tech companies based overseas have also begun feeling the effects of the major tech slump. Some major names include Gorilla, Zap, Dometica, Menmo, and Daniel Wellington. So what does this mean for you? It goes without saying that a recession has massive effects on everyone here in the US. But if you're looking for a job in the technology industry, there may be some rough times ahead, so you better buckle down just to be safe. But don't lose hope though. Many companies are still hiring. In fact, Business Insider reports that there are even companies who are in good positions to make it through a recession completely unscathed, and many may even actually grow. Keep an eye out on cloud-based firms investing in new markets such as Web3. With little to no overhead, these companies are investing in burgeoning technology that could represent the future of business on the internet. And of course, I highly recommend working with an experienced recruiter to help you navigate the challenges that come with looking for a job. We're always ready and willing to help whenever we can. So this just about wraps up this video covering the mass layoffs that are unfortunately hitting the tech industry. Do you have anything else to add to the conversation, or have you been personally affected? We'd love to hear your side of the story. I love hearing from you. Be sure to drop something down in the comments below. If you like this video, want to see more like it, please feel free to like, subscribe, click my bell. It really means a lot. Feel free to also follow me at @Press_Park as I try my best to also post daily. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.